will continue to get it. You say that you want to protect them. How can you make sure that they will be protected?
I took this job to do just that, protect our most vulnerable. And yet, the plans that I've been asked to preside over, Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act exchanges in particular, are not stable programs. Medicaid spending has increased 50% in the last 5 years. And a major driver of that are the able-bodied individuals who joined the program, and half of which these individuals don't work, and many of them could work. I actually think work is a good thing in general. The economy needs more people to work. We've got twice as many jobs as there are people seeking them. But in particular for Medicaid, the problem we run into is if we allow able-bodied individuals on Medicaid to get a 90% match from the federal government, states game the system.
Welcome back to The Count, where we're counting down the major stories of the week. I'm Rick Leventhal, and we're moving on to story number 7, which is securing the president. Securing the present. We just heard from Dr. Mehmet Oz, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator, talking about the big, beautiful bill and stressing Americans will receive Medicaid if they can, quote, prove that they matter. The mega bill is facing harsh criticism, loss of coverage proving to be one of the main sticking points, and here to talk about it, Joe Penland, Sr., a Texas businessman and founder of JoeFromTexas.com. You must be Joe. Joe?
I must be, Rick. Thank you for recognizing that.
Loving the hat. Joe, July 4th, just a couple weeks away. The Senate now said to be steering its way toward considering President Trump's big, beautiful bill as the deadline looms. Right now, there are 3 GOP holdouts, we're told, but others say they're very concerned about the package. What do you see happening in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I don't think either side wants us not to pass this. There's too many things tied to it that we can't walk away from. Our debt ceiling, we have to address that. There's way too many things in this bill that if we don't pass it, all America's in trouble, Democrat and Republican. So I think both sides understand that. We'll get it together. I think all our Republicans, or enough of them, will come around and get this thing passed sooner than later.
Well, Joe, your thoughts, I'm curious about your thoughts on Dr. Oz's comments concerning Medicaid, that, quote, able-bodied Americans who are able to go back to work at least try to get a job, or at least volunteer to take care of loved ones or go back to school. He wants people to do stuff.
Well, we should have always done that. If you're able to work, you should work. We've grown way too many people dependent on the government. We have subsidized too many people that did not need it. We certainly need to take care of people that can't take care of themselves. That's what this country has always done. But we've gotten a little bit too lazy, or a whole lot too lazy. Way too many people dependent on a few people working, and we've got to even the score up, or we'll never get ourselves out of this financial problem that we're in today.
Joe, I know you're down in Texas, which is a border state, and you guys have had some troubles over the last few years thanks to the former administration. How are things today? Do you see a difference between then and now under President Trump?
Well, it's totally different. I mean, we have almost 0 people, if not 0 people, coming across the border in the last month. So that has certainly receded. We don't have that problem anymore. We're gathering up people that are criminals and so forth. We need to get them out of the country. I do worry about the fact that we're taking people that's been here 15 or 20 years on a work visa or student visa that they overstayed and helping our economy. We're getting rid of some of them too. I think there's a balancing act, Rick, that we have to do. Certainly nobody wants a bad person on the street, whether it's an American or somebody from another country. We don't want any bad people walking up and down the streets of America. But we better pay attention to the workforce in this country. Dr. Isles talked about that. You've got too many able-bodied people sitting around not working. The president's done a lot of hard work on bringing people into this country to build factories, to build plants, $5 to $6 trillion. If you don't have workers, how are we going to capitalize on that? The only way we get ourselves out of debt is we have to work our way, along with cuts, along with managing things, and along with looking at everything that we can take advantage of. And we need to do that, but we better get another 10 or 15 million people working in this country if you're going to get yourself out of debt.
Joe, I don't know if you've been watching the protests in Los Angeles and elsewhere across the country, and the efforts to interrupt the job of ICE agents trying to corral some of those criminals you talked about. Is that sort of thing happening down in your neck of the woods? How are Texans feeling about protests against ICE agents?
Well, I don't see it in the Beaumont area where I live. I think they have some of that going on in Austin and maybe some of it in San Antonio, or maybe. But really and truly, if the policemen and ICE have to do a job, you have to let them do you just obviously always stay out of policemen or first responders' way. Don't get in the way of people doing their job. You may not like it, you may disagree with it. Protest in the normal way, that's fine. But when you start burning cars and attacking police officers and stuff like that, you're wrong. Now you broke the law and you need to be dealt with. Stand back. Voice your opinion. We all have that. The Constitution gives us that right, but we can't abuse a right from the Constitution.
Words of wisdom from Joe Penland Sr.